Thank you everyone for joining us today for an event, ASX DLT Solutions Ecosystem, what's actually happening. We are joined today, and thank you very much for coming along, Paul Stonham, David Beros, Betsy Stevens, and Matt Mills. Take the stage, Paul. Really appreciate you being here.
Great. Thanks very much, Amy Rose, and thanks everybody for joining. Good afternoon. As Amy mentioned, my name is Paul Stonham. I'm the General Manager for DLT Solutions here at ASX, and I am joined by David Beros, Chief Product Officer at DigitalX, Betsy Stevens, Head of Strategy, Global Technology and Operations at Broadridge Financial Solutions, and Matt Mills, Founder at Boulevard Global. To begin with, given we're all dialing in from different parts of Australia and possibly different parts of the globe, we acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to the land, waters and culture, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Now, most times when you see, I guess, ASX and DLT mentioned in the same sentence, a lot of people go straight to thinking about CHESS replacement. CHESS replacement and DLT solutions at ASX are very different. And the delivery of the CHESS replacement project remains ASX's priority. However, we're not here to speak about CHESS replacement today. So I'm sorry to disappoint anybody who was thinking the next half an hour would be all about CHESS replacement. At ASX, DLT Solutions is its own separate standalone team, and today we're here to talk with our customers about their initiatives. DLT Solutions, we're creating I guess, DLT as a service for any customers wanting, needing, or wishing to use distributed ledger technology for any type of use case in Australia and New Zealand, obviously provided it's legal, of course. Our service will use the smart contracting language called DAML, which stands for the Digital Asset Modeling Language. And the underlying technology will be provided by VMware. And this will be the exact same technology that the CHESS application will be using. We announced the availability of the DAML Smart Contract Test and Development System last month environment, and some of you on the call today are possibly already connected. And this will allow a range of potential users, including users outside of our traditional customer base, to get familiar with the supported smart contracting protocol, DAML, be able to deploy their applications, test them, as well as run proof of concepts and MVPs. But probably enough from me, because today we're here to talk to our customers who are deep into developing applications and writing DAML code. So I might just make it start just with everybody sort of introducing themselves and sort of the product or products you're currently building or have built on our technology. So Betsy, we might start with you if that's okay.
Sure. Thank you, Paul. And thanks for inviting Broadridge to be here. So first of all, Broadridge, for those of you who don't know, is a global fintech leader. We have over 4.5 billion in revenues, and we provide critical infrastructure that powers investing, corporate governance, and communications, and technology-driven solutions to banks, broker-dealers, asset wealth managers, and public companies. So our solutions help clients navigate risk, optimize efficiency, and grow net revenue on our platform, handles the daily trading of more than $10 trillion of securities globally. Broadridge was quick to grasp the long-term potential of distributed ledger technology to help transform our industry. And we're really a perfect partner to innovate due to our capacity as a trusted network provider, deep understanding of the financial industry, and our expertise in multiple blockchain platforms. Over the past 5 years, we've prototyped and piloted many use cases, including global proxy, bilateral repo solutions, and off-market transfers, validating each of these with our clients. We have done this through our Blockchain Center of Excellence, which is well respected across the industry. The Center of Excellence tests, validates, and launches solutions on different platforms appropriate to the use case. And then they incorporate the lessons learned, best practices, and ensure that we're doing what our clients are looking for, which is reducing costs, minimizing risk, increasing efficiencies, and improving accuracy and transparency. So our product idea that we're using is an off-market transfer. Right now, it's a costly, time-consuming manual process, and between buyers and sellers, the ASX, and retail brokers. So we're taking what is today a paper-based form, lots of multiple points of contacts for information capture. We're really automating that process with our DAML-based solution.
Fantastic, great. Thanks, Betsy. Matt.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Blockchain Australia, for hosting this conference. So I am here from Boulevard Global Limited. Our focus is on democratizing capital. I'm founder, and our vision has always been to enable, create, and deliver opportunities for unlisted companies to help them, their shareholders, and their employees realize the value of their work. So Boulevard is a platform that provides registry services, provides investor relations services and communications between the company and their shareholders, and delivers compliance solutions between those companies and ASIC. Our vision is always that we think distributed ledger technology can really deliver unprecedented efficiencies in terms of automating the processes around both corporate actions and the exchange of value between parties. We see DAML as a fantastic opportunity to essentially encode the rules that typically are found in shareholder agreements, company constitutions, and other documents that pertain to a company. And we see the ledger itself as a perfect store of record for registry data, for shareholder data, and as well as the ability to essentially represent those assets and securities on the ledger itself. So we're very excited to be here working with ASX DLT Solutions, simply because we see a real opportunity to better serve what we think is a very underserved market, which is the unlisted companies space. And we also intend to extend this vision beyond just equities and into other alternative securities, as well as other structures such as funds and related entities.
Great stuff, Matt. David.
Yeah, hi everyone. So my name is David Beros. I'm Chief Product Officer at DigitalX Limited. We're an ASX listed company ourselves and have been involved in the blockchain space since 2014 in a number of iterations. The product we're building on the ASX's DLT and DAML-based environment is Broadridge, and the vision there is to be the digital governance standard for the world's publicly listed companies. So how it came about for us internally was going back 12 months now, we started an internal innovation program looking at how we might leverage this system once it comes online, but really mindful that we wanted to solve a problem today for the potential customers that would be on that platform. So we spoke to a lot of company secretaries and CFOs and used our own expertise as a listed company looking at what are some of the governance systems and processes that might benefit from the system. And one that we landed on as the first stepping stone to achieving that vision is around securities trading policies. So every ASX listed company is required to have a policy and a set of rules that lays out how their employees and directors can trade in their own company stock. And that's currently manual, paper-based, often occurs over email. So we've taken that, built an application to systematize and digitize that process. And the end goal for us at the moment is to really use the DLT as a source of truth for matching up the compliance approval that was given with the trading that actually occurred, so that we can detect any potential issues before they become a problem.
Right. So thanks, David. I guess whilst we're speaking on that, and then we'll ask, I guess, a similar question to anybody, but sort of given you're on a roll there, you sort of said your target user base initially is ASX listed companies. So from your perspective, what's the pain points or what's the benefits ultimately that you envision your product is going to deliver to those to that initial user base you're going after, and then potentially when do you think you'll be in a position to start giving potential customers a look at your technology?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've launched our product in November last year and since signed on 4 listed companies as part of our early adopter program, including DigitalX. So excitingly, we have real customers on the platform at the moment using it and kickstarting our feedback loop. We follow an agile development cycle, as I'm sure most software companies do these days. So getting that user feedback is really invaluable. In terms of the problems it's solving for them, I like to think of it in terms of high level and low level problems. So the lower level ones are things like saving time, reducing error, but the higher level ones, we really see this as kind of an insurance product where you're really reducing the risk of things going wrong in terms of your governance for operating a listed company.
Great. Betsy, I guess off-market transfers and equities, you sort of already mentioned retail brokers as a focus, sort of again, your product and the pain points and efficiencies that's going to deliver to them. And again, when do you think you'll sort of be in demo mode down here?
Yeah, so we have our prototype ready, and we have two or three clients that are very interested working with us on that prototype. And so we feel like with this technology, we would be able to move into an MVP, very rapidly within, 8 weeks probably. The pain points are very similar to the ones that Paul outlined. Right now it's manual, it takes a lot of effort, there's mistakes. Based on the simplification and the automation, we estimate that what today is usually a multi-week process can be completed within 24 hours. So it's a significant time saving. We believe the application will deliver significant cost savings, up to 40 to 50%. And then the same, risk is reduced since the transaction is verified and validated by the parties. And there's an audit trail that ensures that issues can be traced to the source quickly and remedied. So, yeah, we're ready. We're excited.
Yeah, great. That's probably a good point about a lot of these things. The common denominator, is reducing risk and increasing compliance. So I guess, Matt, from your perspective, and sort of, your customers are both, I guess, private companies plus the investors of those private companies. Sort of, what's the status of your product?
Thanks, Paul. We released our MVP in February, and of course, we've onboarded a significant number of companies, all unlisted companies, private and unlisted public companies since then. And essentially, we're very excited because the first iteration of our solution on the ASX DLT is very much around the audit trail. So obviously for private company investors, there's a significant lack of transparency often. There's a degree of information asymmetry, and that creates mistrust and undermines confidence in the company, its performance, and its communication. So we are rolling out the first iteration of our solution, which is using the DAML and the ASX DABL infrastructure in order to capture and record and create an activity timeline, what we call a defensible audit trail for companies to create both a perfect record of all activities and actions performed and give the shareholders a way of independently verifying not only the communications they receive from our platform by going to another source, but also be able to see and essentially confirm their holdings in these private companies as well. Especially with unlisted public companies, there's very little rules around communications, around asset ownership beyond share certificates or anything produced by the company itself. And so we want to encourage greater transparency that you get in the listed space through the use of this technology. From there, we see great opportunities around automating processes. So there's no need for human interaction for common actions such as rights issues and so forth, to eventually enable that element of exchange of value for unlisted assets, unlisted securities, because we have viewed that by reducing information asymmetries, by increasing transparency, by delivering confidence through independent verifiability, we think that creates a demand for the ability to enter and exit these positions. So we're already rolling out stage one, which is that audit trail piece right now.
Great, thanks, Matt. And you probably almost ticked every box as to why someone would choose DLT for this type of application. But again, and you guys have been involved in technology for quite some time. Sort of how's your journey been, and I guess why? And you sort of mentioned about DAML and its strengths of encoding policies on company constitutions and things. So you'll give a bit of a feedback on, I guess, why you probably don't need to answer why you've chose DLT. You've justified that already, but your experience with DAML.
So we like DAML for 3 reasons. Number one, it's always been purpose-built for contracts and contract language. It's very easy to essentially represent those agreements in programmatic fashion, and makes it very easy to prototype and release iterations of the smart contracts that underpin a lot of the processes that commonly affect companies. The second reason is the portability. So we can connect our DAML contracts to any ledger of our choice. So if, for example, we decide in future where if we launched overseas and Hyperledger or Quarter as alternative ledgers were a requirement for a particular project, we have the confidence that we could reuse those same DAML contracts for that particular application, just like we're using DAML here in Australia. The third reason why we like DAML is simply because of the level of support and engagement we get from both the ASX and from Digital Asset. And we can see where it's going, and we have confidence that not only is the adoption there, but the progress of the technology and its increasing number of use cases, such as the ones we're hearing today, give us reason why we want to use the language and the underpinning that technology.
Great. David, maybe you want to give your sort of your experience as well?
Yeah, so we've found it in terms of, similar sentiment to Matt, encoding the policy rules and procedures is actually pleasingly quite easy to do in a language like DAML, which is a functional-based programming language. So you can define who your parties are, what rules they have in terms of interacting with other parties' data, which makes it really robust and flexible in that regard. And yeah, I think the interesting thing for me, looking ahead, I know we're not talking about the chest replacement, but imagining what that future might look like and seeing that result in most publicly listed companies or all in Australia effectively being onboarded into this system, we can see that they'll have much more direct access to their share registered data that they already own and that they'll use day by day. But I'm interested to then see what other type of data might be able to come onto that ledger. And I think, in terms of DAML's ability to take on that challenge and that opportunity, I think it's really well positioned.
Great. And Betsy, I mean, Broadridge is using this quite widely globally. The bond repo stuff happening in the US and that sort of stuff. Sort of any thoughts you wanted to add on that this conversation?
Really, I would just echo what has already been said. I would say that, we like it as well because it can connect to both distributed ledgers and traditional databases. So it makes it very flexible, everything that the guys already said. So it's just been really good to work with. It provides us the advantage of focusing on the problem and delivering solutions instead of, worrying about the technology.
Great, thanks. So I think the Block Chain Australia team want us to sort of wrap up a few minutes before 12:30. So what I might sort of do is maybe put it back to you guys as to see, how do you sort of see your solution evolving in the next 12 months, or potentially even if you want to start to think about, what new products or additions to your products do you think, potential customers of yours will see come out of you in the next sort of 12 months? And if you sort of want to take a couple of minutes each to do that, and then we can wrap it up from there. So we'll start with David, if you like.
Yeah, sure. So at the moment, we're recording trading approvals under that securities trading policy as the record on our DAML environment that we're using in the ASX sandbox at the moment. And so if there's any public companies out there that want to talk about how they can digitize their policy, I'd love to have that conversation. But where we're headed as a public company ourselves is we're in the process of getting our own share registry data into that system so that we can firstly visualize it in as real time as possible. Because at the moment, even that is a bit of a friction and a pain point in terms of getting 2-day delayed movement reports through your share registry. So that in itself is a problem to solve. But once we have that data and the trading approval data, our goal within the next year is to begin automating the reconciling and matching of those two.
Right. Matt?
Thanks, Paul. And I would just echo David's sentiments in that we see a future, number one, where this is going. We think that the pipeline of companies, information, data, registry information, as David mentioned, all the way from inception, all the way through to IPO and listing, that's a really exciting opportunity we foresee. It's something that we want to support at Boulevard. And for us specifically, from a product perspective, our goal is to, number one, roll out, as I said, that initial implementation. But for any founders, directors, lawyers, accountants who are on this call, I would love to connect with you and hear your feedback on your frustrations around lack of transparency, lack of information, lack of access to information. Because in the unlisted space, the problem we want to solve fundamentally is how do we create that hub, that single source of truth to give confidence, give the shareholders or any security holders for that matter, the ability to make informed decisions around what they should do with those assets, because ultimately we want to deliver solutions that give more flexibility and more options to the shareholders, to other asset holders, to the company directors around capital and the best use of their balance sheet using the tokenized versions of their balance sheet. So we're very excited about what the future holds. We really see this as being the distributed ledgers allowing access and sharing of data. And that's why we're very keen to talk to a lot of others on how best to unlock this treasure trove of data that exists in the unlisted space, particularly because of we're seeing all this exciting developments happen in the listed space, and we want to bring some of those concepts downstream.
Great, thanks, Matt. So yeah, not much on your roadmap for the next 12 months, then, by the look of it. And Betsy, obviously, Broadridge in the financial services space.
Yeah, so, we're excited about this. We're excited about this off-market transfer process now. If we can deploy this solution as a SaaS solution integrated with broker portals and back office platforms right now. And then we will evolve, when chess is ready and the platform is ready to launch the DAML-based microservices with our clients using API-based connectivity. We'll partner with the ASX hosted services and be ready for the chess replacement. So our Center of Excellence will continue to evolve and prototype and listen to our clients, and we're excited about this space.
Great, and I think it's important too, even with your off-market transfer app, even with that sort of goes live or into production towards the end of this year, you don't necessarily need the chess replacement system to go live, because you'll be able to use the existing roles to move those shares, albeit the instructions will come from your DLT application.
That's exactly right.
Fantastic. And I've sort of seen that the team from Blockchain Australia have sort of put all our LinkedIn links into the comments as well, or into the chat. So anybody out there that wants to get in contact with any of us to either get further information, arrange demos, meetings, things like that, feel free to do that. And I just might pass it around once just for the final time of any sort of last minute words or thoughts from any of you on the panel, otherwise, and then we'll sort of pass it back to Amy Rose. Matt.
Just thank you again for the opportunity to share what we're doing, and also back to yourself, Paul, and the team at the ASX for delivering the solutions that are enabling us to really ramp up quickly and release the products we're looking to release on DAML.
Thanks, Matt.
I echo
David.
that, Matt. Thank you very much, Paul.
Great. And David?
Yeah, thanks as well, Paul. It's been great engaging with Paul and his team over the last few months. And although I work for DigitalX, our product is available at opendrawbridge.io as well. I'll slip one last plug in before we go.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, everybody. I don't think there's a possibility for questions or chats, but like I sort of said, all the contact details are either on the Blockchain Australia website or in the chat if you want to quickly cut and paste that before we get cut off. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining, everybody. And we're looking forward to a good and busy future, reducing risk, increasing compliance, and seeing some really cool new software and new ways of working. So thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you all.